shall escape my blah 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 blah. I just saw Green Lantern First Flight, the new animated feature from DC Animation, and I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was better than the Wonder Woman animated feature, but honestly, I'm just going to kind of take the safe route with that one and just say that, well, it's because Wonder Woman is one of my favorite characters and Hal Jordan isn't. I like the fact that it's very spacey, it's very science fiction, but in kind of an old school way. It reminds me of animation from the 80s, of cartoon shows, science fiction cartoon shows from the 80s, and also it's very faithful to the comics while at the same time updating a lot of stuff. I like the fact that it started out with a very brief kind of origin story. They don't really get into it. On the one hand, that's a good thing because they get into the action very quickly, and there's tons of action in space. There's fights in space, there are fights with a lot of very different aliens, and I like that a lot. It has a very nice pacing. There's always an action beat, there's always something going on, and I like that. I like the fact that the Green Lantern Corps and the Guardians and the Green Lantern Battery, all that is presented as something very big. It's almost intimidating in a way because they are kind of like the police of the universe. They present it like that, and it really feels very big. It's kind of impressive in its magnitude or whatever. And I think that the voice acting was okay. The guy who voiced Hal Jordan, Christopher Meloni, he did an okay job. He didn't impress me whatsoever. I think that the guy who voiced Sinestro did a better job. His name escapes me right now. And also Michael Madsen as Kilowog is a stroke of genius because I fucking love Michael Madsen. He makes this movie awesome even though it doesn't deserve to be. I think in terms of animation, most of the characters looked very good. Most of the action scenes and the choreography looked very good. I think also the CGI blended with the 2D animation. What I didn't like about it? Well, I'm sorry to say, but Hal Jordan is a big sore point with me because in the beginning, like I said, he has a very quick origin story, but it's so quick, he doesn't ever get the chance to kind of like just be shocked and surprised by what's going on around him. He just kind of takes it all in stride and just goes in there and doesn't take a while to notice that, hey, I'm surrounded by aliens and stuff. He comes off to me as a very two-dimensional character, not very believable, kind of like a Mary Sue in a fan fiction story, honestly. There were other little things that bothered me, like for instance there were some inconsistencies in animation. Sometimes Sinestro had white eyes and white teeth, and other times he had yellow eyes and yellow teeth. Ew. Also, there's this scene where an alien is kind of sucked into this little hole in the side of the ship, and he's sucked out in the vacuum of space, and you hear his bones cracking and his screams of agony, and honestly, I thought, that's a little hardcore for an animation movie. I also didn't like that they didn't really put an effort into how the alien sounded, because if they didn't kind of just whistled and squeaked like little R2-D2s running around, they had normal human voices, and I think those voices could have been morphed a little bit so they could sound a bit more alien. It wouldn't have been that much of a deal. So overall, I did enjoy it, even though it's all about Hal Jordan. It's not like I want to hate this character or anything. I would have loved for a bit more characterization on his part in this movie. Maybe they could have even used a bit more humor because it does kind of lack some interesting one-liners. Wonder Woman was actually a lot funnier than this one. But I think the best thing I can say about Green Lantern First Flight is that I think the story has great pacing. It really leads somewhere. Maybe you're not going to be very surprised by what happens in the movie, but I think it does have a great epic finish, and the best thing about this great epic finish is that it does leave you wanting more, and that's very important.